So with home birthing, I felt like mindset was the most important thing to focus and stack upon. So looking back on my Kindle, I had so many books on home birthing, spiritual midwifery, lotus birthing, water birthing, home birthing. It's like it was saturated. So I had like researched on like, because it's not like, hey, I didn't, like, unless you're with the right group of friends, it's not like everyone's like, I did it too. Yep, it's easy, it's awesome, like this is how you do it. So I researched to feel certain of my decision. So the idea came about when we were in Mexico with Greg Braden, and he mentioned the rock pools in Russia where the women walk down, and that because of the salt and everything, Black Sea, that they birth in these naturally rock pools, baby comes out, etc. And I was like, wow, like that would be so amazing to birth, like right birth, like, but the technicalities of going to Russia, birthing, and then being able to bring a baby back plus winter was just a whole other thing. So it's like, cool, how can I replicate that? And then I found out about birth in a pool, which was beautiful because it all compacts in. Beautiful birthing pool. I really loved it. I used the egg shape or the regular one. It's what they call it for Aragon. It's got a little seat to it. It's got a drink holder, and it was really gentle on my knees, like because I gave birth to him on my floor. So it was just compared to giving birth to Ishwa in the bathtub, it was like day and night. So yeah, so I'd recommend if you want to water birth pools are awesome. Like, yeah, however you want to do it, research. The other thing was other people's negative comments and stuff, not letting it affect me, not telling many people about home birthing, sharing it with other home births or groups. That's when I was pregnant with Aragon, I didn't really know like how saturated that market was and how much help and support there was out there. However, with Ishwa, then I was in those groups talking, sharing my free birthing story with Aragon, etc. So if you have questions, it's kind of safer mentally to talk to people that are pro home birth or pro choice, because they come for it in a different energy, more positive, that they're not then drowning more fears. Because then I felt like when I did speak to some people that weren't too sure, then they had all their stuff. And especially when you're in a vulnerable stage already, in the sense of like growing a beautiful being inside of you, you don't need that. And so it's about safe people, trusting circle, like right people around you, and if not, online is amazing. Research with books, videos, etc. The hypnobirthing course with Aragon really helped me have this phenomenal birth. Like after that birth, I was like, yep, I definitely want one more, right? Like I was just like floating in the water, like having the singing bowl there it was phenomenal because the singing bowl is like that big. And so Joshua was playing it, and as he played it, my whole womb just got really still and quiet and just so peaceful, because like Aragon was like just like doing somersaults in there like crazy. Like, people say, oh, make sure the head is intact at the bottom right before X amount of weeks of giving birth. I mean, this child, like 10 minutes or so before birth, was still doing somersaults and his head was still not engaged. Like he'd engage like weeks before, then disengage and have a little party. So it's like what they say should and shouldn't, it's like, your body best. So someone else telling you how your body should or shouldn't feel, like, I mean, come on, your body, right? Like you've lived in it longer than anyone else telling you what it should or shouldn't be like. And the other thing was, I had this like a method that, like, if he was quiet for a long time, I'd be like, hey, is everything cool? And it'd be like, give me a couple of kicks or 3 kicks, etc., depending on what I was asking, right? And through the birth, I had a journal with me, and just the journey of growing him inside me was amazing, because I was like, it's so many parts of you change and shift as you're going from the maiden to the mother stage. And with both the births, there's this beautiful story where it's like the mother feels like she can't give, I'm sorry, the maiden feels like she can't give birth. And it's because it's about letting go of the maiden and embracing the mother and the strength that comes in from the mother to then deliver this, basically this child on earth, right? It's just a beautiful story because, yeah, mentally go through this thing. It's like, it's too much. It's like, don't want to do it. I just want to go to sleep. Just like, whatever. Like, yeah. So it's a wonderful mental dance that happens where you just have to completely surrender. It's almost like you've never surrendered this intensely, that you just have to give up in a beautiful way, not in a way that is taking away from your power, but in a way that makes you feel more powerful. And then when you surrender, it's like the birth just shifts and changes, because then you don't have all these fears, right? So with every surge, or as I say, contraction, but like as you can see just with the wordings, how it feels so different. So with every surge, instead of fighting with it, if you dance with it and hug it and embrace it, it becomes a different experience, right? Because then you're not fighting. And why would you fight against your own body helping you deliver this beautiful being onto earth, right? Like, it's just counterproductive. So the more you create the space where everything around you is like comfortable, even if it's not, make it feel or look like it. Music really helped me with the first one, and like second one as well. I didn't have it throughout with the second, but it just, if you're in this mental space or you're like chill having a dance party and in the middle of the surges and stuff, having water, having food, just chilling, not caring about poop coming out as you breathe. I mean, everyone poops, like, it's just part of life. Don't make it bigger than it needs to be. Like, take care of yourself. You need that energy through the birth, unless there's anything preventing you from eating, drinking, etc. Obviously, you know your body best. You need to do what's best for you. So for me, like, I ate in the morning and then later and then after, with it's energy in and out. So it's about creating a space that feels calm, inviting, and homely to you. Like, if you just look at the animals, kittens and stuff, right? They go and hide in a really quiet space where there's not going to be interruptions and everything. So the body goes through the same thing. That's why when we're shifting from one environment to another environment, stress can happen, because unfamiliar smells, tastes, sounds, people, etc. So it's just being aware that, hey, like, if you are transitioning to different space, just breathe through it, bring your own music if you need to, chill with it, just relax into it. Just know that, hey, just gone through a transition, it's going to take some time to adjust. Like with Aragon rebirths regarding transitioning and adjusting, we moved from Adelaide to Sydney around 9 months, right? So he came at around 10 months. And the Wednesday before he came out, it was like, cool, gonna give birth on Wednesday. I was like, sweet, cool. And so it's like you have this communication with each other, because it's an open communication if you want to have it. Like, it's an open, like, they're growing inside of you. You can feel it, you can nourish it, so yeah, like, communicate. Don't be afraid to communicate. It's just all these external, right? It's like, all these methods to disempower women are so easy. Like, you look at the documentary Business of Giving Birth, so easy to disempower someone, especially when they're the most vulnerable. And I think those stories really break my heart, right? Like, just how the woman was not considered, taken care of, like how the dad, the father was disregarded. And it's like, it's such a sacred space, and we do need to treat it as such, and we do need to envelop and love and take care of people in that vulnerable space, and not plant in fears like, hey, you should get this, you should get that, you should get that, because it's suggestive, right? Like, it's like you're planting these fears as the person is at their most vulnerable. And why that's okay with some people, I just Hey, beautiful. I just feel like they're just such amazing things and process and everything, and we so need to take care of it. Little baby's just well, it's not a baby anymore, it's 2 years old. Zipping around and it's like, hey, baby. Yeah, so this beautiful little home birth. Hi, Bob. Who weren't you, the Viking? Who was born in the bathtub at night? And then he made like a meowing sound, and then the kittens were meowing as well one day. They're like, meow. He still makes sounds like that, and yeah, his brothers wanted to be there for a birth, so it was very different. So I couldn't zone in as easily as I could with Aragon's birth. But I mean, look at this beautiful miracle and his smile and his eyes. And I'm like, it's so beautiful. Yeah. Yes.
Bye.
Yeah, food. Yeah. So we had the home birth set up in the outdoor patio for him, and the water got too cold, and then all the boys were playing in the water. So I transitioned to the bathtub upstairs and then had the birth upstairs at you were around 10:17 p.m. So yeah, both my babies were at night in water at home, and yeah, it was a wonderful experience. And whatever fears you have regarding it, if you make peace with the fears, it's easier. Yeah, there's Daddy. Yeah. So have fun with it, and yeah, whatever fears you have, like ask people what they did for it, how they can change it, etc. And yeah, so Josh was a home birth baby, which made it different and easier with Ishwa. Is that when we talked about home birth, he was absolutely like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I say hi, Daddy. Ishwa came and said hi. Did you run away from Daddy?
Bye.
Yeah.